Davis.
Eight minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock. Unbelievable. Our guest will be here as soon as they bring him in. For some reason, they just haven't brought him in yet. Welcome back. Hour number 2. You can bring in the guest any time now. The show's on its way. Welcome. It's the second hour for a Monday, January the 9th, 1989. The guest will be here momentarily. Momentarily, they will bring the guest in. And we will get on with the show. The guest's name, by the way, is Ben Alexander, an evangelist who writes a newsletter called Exposing Satan's Power. Please, Mr. Alexander, come in and sit down. Well, yeah, we're on the air, sir. Have a seat, if you will. They brought you in a little late. The show started already. I don't understand why they brought you in late, but that's okay. Move up, if you will. Be about 4 or 5 inches away from the microphone. Okay, great. You can put the headphones on or wait for a while. It's up to you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Is it Reverend or just Mr. or what?
No, just Ben Alexander.
Just Ben. Why just Ben Alexander?
Well, because Reverend, if we're going to be scriptural, Reverend is used a couple of times in the Bible, and it means the all-highest. And I'm not the all-highest.
Well, I don't really deal a great deal with the Bible. I was, do you have, in other words, do you have a divinity degree?
Oh, no, I am, what you might say, an evangelist, and I've been ordained as a minister, but that's about it.
Okay, but you do not have any...
No, I do not have any degrees. No, I left school when I was 14, 54 years ago.
Okay, and you have kind of devoted your life to exposing Satan?
Now, yes.
Now?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because going back in my lifetime, I was just a kid. I think you read my book, possibly.
No, I didn't get the book. But that's okay. No problem.
Sent it here. They asked me for it. Well, that's all right. When my father died at the age of 11, he wasn't my real father. I never knew my real parents. We lived in a slum in the East End of London, and he died screaming, "Please, God, don't let me die." He was terrified, and he had every reason to be that way, because he lived like most men live, as though they have 1,000 years to live. He beat my mother, which of course she wasn't my real mother, and he was having affairs, and then he died when I was age 11. You
don't really believe that he was afraid to die because he thought he was going to hell. He was just afraid to die because life was going to stop.
I think both reasons.
You don't believe in hell, Mr. Alexander, do you?
Of course I do.
Oh, come on. Did you ever pray for somebody not to die? Did you ever ask God not to take somebody?
Do ever I ask God not to die?
Yeah.
I ask God to give them a long life.
Do you go to a doctor yourself?
Yes, and I believe in that.
Then why are you prolonging going to paradise? Why are you trying to put off going to paradise? Because you don't believe in paradise, Mr. Alexander, any more than you believe in hell.
Now, I know what I believe in, Bob.
Oh, well, why do you try to prolong your going there?
Why do I prolong? Well, it's funny, but that's a natural thing. Christians want to go...
I don't think it's funny at all, sir, if you're trying to tell people that there's a paradise and a...
It's funny,
hell.
Not funny, ha-ha, funny, peculiar, but we like to live because there's always that question mark at the back of our mind. But as far as I'm concerned, I believe there is a place. You see, one of the things that I thought of in our ministry, we also fight pornography. And when you get a little baby, 8 months old, taken to a doctor, Dr. Elizabeth Holland, who we happen to know, and this baby has gonorrhea of the throat from a perverse father, I believe there is a place reserved for those type of people.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that you're not in favor of that, but I would point out to you that even people who don't believe in your God are also opposed to,
That's fine.
Children as sex objects. I don't see what religion or heaven or hell really has to do with that.
Well,
actually, I would suggest to you, sir, that there couldn't conceivably be any kind of just, merciful, loving God who would permit that type of thing to happen to an innocent 8-month-old baby.
Man does that. God doesn't do it.
I didn't suggest that man or that God did it, sir. I suggested to you that God would not permit it to happen.
God gives us a choice. I believe that God gives us a choice.
Can you prove to me there's a God?
Can you prove to me that there's not a God? But as far as I'm concerned...
I beg your pardon, sir. You're the one who's making an assertion that something exists.
Okay.
I asked a legitimate question.
Okay. I believe in a supernatural force, you see. That's what I believe. I believe that we are made in the image of God. We're not just flesh and blood.
Can you prove to me, though, that there is a God?
Just the very fact of life itself believes that...
Mr. Alexander, there's one answer to the question. The answer is no. Would you please tell me no? I can't prove to you, Mr. Lassiter, that there is a God. And don't tap dance around it. Tell me that you can. That's the answer, right?
Well, if that's what you want, that's fine.
You can't prove that there's a God, can you? I have to accept that there's a God on faith is the point I'm trying to get to.
Yes, we accept it by faith. That's why when I just look at the world itself and the creation itself, that there must have been somebody or something that has created this. It's not just comes from nowhere.
Mm-hmm. So I would have to, you cannot prove physically in any shape, manner, or form that there's a God. It's something I must accept on faith.
Yes, you accept it on faith.
Can you prove to me that there's a devil, sir?
I believe there
or do
is...
I have to accept that on faith, too?
Well, you can see the influence of a demonic spirit, yes.
Well, come now, sir. What kind of influence? Can you prove to me that there is a devil, yes or no? Let's go back to the basics here.
Well, let me say this, that I believe there's a spirit world.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that you believe that. Perhaps we'll get into your beliefs a little bit later on. Can you prove to me that there is a devil, yes or no?
Only from what we see, a demonic force.
So, no, you can't prove to me that there is a devil.
See, I believe in the Bible. And the Bible clearly tells us, the Apostle Paul said, our fight in this world is not against human beings.
Again, I'm delighted, sir, to hear what you believe in, and I promise we will get to your beliefs later on in the program. But you can't prove to me that there is a devil. So it's something that I have to accept on faith, right? Just like God. I have to accept God on faith. I have to accept... Do you have any idea how ridiculous that sounds, Mr. Alexander, that I must accept that there's a devil on faith?
Well, perhaps to you, Bob, it seems ridiculous, but to millions of others it doesn't.
How do you expose Satan's power?
How do we expose it?
Mm-hmm.
The way we expose it is to bring... See, Satan doesn't always go around wearing red underwear, you know. That's one of the problems.
Well, we don't know what kind of underwear he wears. No one's ever seen.
But...
we know no more about the kind of underwear Satan wears than we do about the kind of underwear God wears.
From the very things that people do, we know what is right and what is wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, I got that information from the Word of God, which is right and which is wrong.
Mm-hmm. It changes, though.
I don't think it changes.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir, but it does.
That's fine, if that's what you believe.
It's not what I believe. You did mention the Bible. You have read it, haven't you?
Of course.
Well, then you know that there are lots of things in there that were an abomination in God's eyes that no longer are.
Such as?
Living in a house with a pointed roof. Using an ox and an ass to plow a field. I mean, I don't... Do you really think God's going to strike you down dead now if you use an ox and an ass to plow your field?
No.
I don't think so either, sir. But at one time, according to the Bible, he would have. So he changed his mind on that.
I think God can change his mind. Fine. I have
and
no
of course,
problem
he changed
with
his
that.
mind about living in a house with a pointed roof. And he changed his mind about this and about that. And you just told me that he didn't change his mind a few minutes ago. But you know what's right and what's wrong because God told you.
Well, I don't think he's changed his mind about rape and murder and some obvious things of that nature.
It's amazing people were against rape and murder long before the Bible was written. In societies that were older than the Bible. They were against it, too. Without any... They claimed utterly no divine revelation that rape and murder were wrong. They just knew it was.
That's right, and I didn't live those days, so I wouldn't know. But I believe that basically what I'm here is to warn people of the dangers of people getting involved in witchcraft and spiritism and things of that nature.
You believe in witchcraft?
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't it strange that basically only people who have a fundamentalist belief in God would believe in things like astrology and witchcraft?
I don't believe in astrology.
Oh, really? Astrology is mentioned in the Bible as one of those things that's real?
Yes, and God's against it.
Well, how could he be against something that isn't real?
Well, because I think it's a pseudoscience and it's an idol worship, and that's why he's against it.
Then God believes there's something to astrology.
No, he says it's
how can he be against something that's... It's kind of like saying God's against... You know,